Welcome, lovely one, to my YouTube channel. And this conversation is all about everything you need to know about being a firewalking instructor. It's part of that series. And my name's Lisa Clifford, in case you're new to the channel. This is Lola, who insisted on coming in. And I am a firewalking and empowerment instructor trainer. But the heart of that, like really deep down, I'm really a transformational leader. I help people create transformation in their inner world that helps them have the experiences in the outer world that's aligned with their heart's whispers, desires, and their hopes for their life. But it all starts inside. And the way that I do it is through creating, mentoring, training, coaching other transformational leaders through the form of being firewalk and empowerment instructors. So, fresh back off my training last week, got back last Wednesday. So I've been back 9 days and done quite a lot of reflecting in that time and like really trying to understand the invisible. Do you know what I mean? That where you see that somebody is unrecognizable in seconds. And that was one of the comments that one of the participants made, one of the new instructors made about another one, that we'd done a breakthrough exercise and a story that she'd been told, the one that's unrecognizable, by someone for years, was broken free. The story had been holding her back, weighing her down, over filtering herself and doubting everything that she said. And after this particular exercise, and which one, it doesn't really matter because it's really about the context that you put around it, the intention you put into it, the knowing of what it is that you want to shift. That once we'd done this exercise, another participant said, "You are unrecognizable from 2 minutes ago," because the shift was like that and it was sustained and it's still sustained now. The story was not true. It had never been true, but we cut it free. We didn't give it back to where it came from. We didn't have to name it. We just saw who she is now, which was just somebody who was in there, and I'm going to say power, and I don't mean power like a sword that you yield and an energy that you force. I mean somebody that is in a space within themselves that they are good with who they are. You know, that, and even I dare to say content with who they are, and that they are happy to fill their being, their body with themselves. And I just saw that grow and strengthen throughout the week into this, well, what felt like layers had been lifted off, and not just her, but everybody. And that's what I mean about the invisible. But it wasn't invisible. It was very visible and you could feel it. And this young woman was just a being of pure love who owned her truth and could articulate it. Yes, we did a week of firewalking. The program is intense. It's quite magical, and I can't take the credit for the actual layout of the program. That came from Peggy Dillon through years and years and decades of mastery. And I teach that same program, but through my expression, through my experiences. I learned to be a firewalking instructor in 2008 and then became a trainer of instructors in 2014. But I left it 10 years before I led a training. At the time, I told myself, "You're not good enough. you're not Peggy Dillon. Just a second whilst I shut the door. That's it. And I told myself I wasn't Peggy Dillon, so I wasn't good enough. I had loads of reasons in my head, but the best one and the biggest one and the most important one was I need to have transformational empowerment and firewalking experiences under my belt to teach from. It's not enough that I would know how to teach somebody to deliver the arrow break experience. It's all the stories that go with it, all the times when people have had the most amazing breakthroughs, the times when we've had to manage the group around the exercise, the times when I've done it on stage, the times when I've done it one-to-one in my kitchen. All of those stories help create a framework for somebody to understand and learn its potential and its purpose and all the different ways that they could potentially be inspired to use that particular breakthrough exercise. I needed to get those experiences of running a firewalk for 100 army officers under my belt and what it felt like as a, I bring this up, but as a short woman leading 100 men that have just come back from Afghanistan. What did that feel like? And how easy could no have been to that? Or I'll get somebody else to do it and I'll support them. The stories around when somebody bent the rebar and pushed somebody over. My mistakes became my great teachings. But had I delivered the training, the instructor training, too soon, I wouldn't have had the mistakes to teach from. I wouldn't have been able to answer the questions that people are asking me. So I left it. I left it 10 years. And the future me that I was leaving it for is so glad now that I am that future me, able to teach and not just teach the processes and the exercises, but to read the group. And one of the things I love to do is know what their optimum, when their mind and their body and their emotions and their soul is at its optimum, and to keep them in that and to keep teaching them in that. And to read when the group is dipping a bit, when to give a break, a short break, and when to bring them back into their optimum. And it's residential so that we stay in our new world that we're creating. But also, they give me permission that I feel that if there's a moment to teach, like we had a moment last week where each of us were holding an energy. Something had happened at the venue, nothing to do with the training. I'll keep the story of it out, but each of us had this feeling rising up in us. And I just had this feeling now. And I said to my team, we're doing the board break exercise now. And one of them had only just served themselves some hearty chili and was about to put the spoon in her mouth. And she said, "You mean now, don't you?" And I said, "I mean now. I'm so sorry. We'll come back and eat." And she put it down. She said, "No problem." The group, they were eating. Two of them had already eaten and two of them were just finishing off. And I said, "We need to do something now. Do you trust me?" And they said, "Yes." I said, we'll come back to that. And that sounds a bit dramatic, doesn't it? We went in the room. I demonstrated the board break. We raised the energy, not particularly for the board break, but for us. And we did the board break in a way I'd never done it before. But we shifted, we used it to shift an energy within us that we could name as anger, frustration, irritation, resistance, whatever it is. It didn't matter the name of the feeling. Each of us had something. And I wanted us to use the exercise with purpose rather than, because what would happen, that energy that we were feeling within us, it could have been spent, we could have spent it on each other, in being niggled or reading something the wrong way or taking something the wrong way or projection. But instead, I showed them how we take an energy and we move it through us and out. And then we free ourselves from it, and we do it in such a great spirit. Well, I swear, we kept going around in circles, breaking those balls, like bang, bang, bang. And the energy in the room, we claimed back that part of us that had been hijacked by the story we weren't going to, because it's just totally irrelevant. It was a gift, really, wasn't it? And it was such a gift, because when we're in the shares, I said, I don't lead with a question. I just say, who would like to say whatever you want to say? And Helen said, how do we not follow you when you say we're doing this after everything you have given us, everything you have taught us, everything you have shared? Why would we not say yes instantly when you say now? And somebody else said, that was a beautiful example of how to move energy cleanly without blame or shame or criticism or accusation, and to move it and replace it with an energy that feels empowering. And empowerment is freedom. I call the business Be Unstoppable Firewalks, not because I want people to feel like they're a runaway train and out of control and barging and bumping into things, because I want people not to be stopped by the layers of patterns and conditions that were given to them and then played out and lived out and then became a reality. I don't want people to be held back. I want them to not have those layers of brakes upon them so that they are free. So being unstoppable is about being in your inner truth and being free of those layers of projection, limitation, resistance. You get the idea. And yeah, so they were sharing, I feel like I could do anything. And that's the truth. You see, people can do anything. And usually it's the anything that their heart is asking them, calling them to do, that they've been putting off. It's not about, I feel like I could run the country. Well, if somebody had that in them and they're already down that path and they'd been blocked, then yes, why not? Why not? So many lessons from last week. I saw a group come together in unity and learn from each other. I witnessed so many breakthroughs that I can't count. I also noticed within myself, the only thing I was interested in was them all getting exactly what they needed. It didn't matter if I thought I had the energy to do it or not. It arrived. We'd done the graduation firewalk, and we were back in the room doing a share. In their graduation firewalk was 50 feet. They didn't know they were doing it until we were building the fire big enough to do it, and that we could see on the land where it was flat enough how far. We would have gone as long as the land was flat, but it gave us 50 feet of flatness. And that was extraordinary, because when I said, right, and I walked the path that they were going to be walking, I said, right, that's the firewalk you're doing tonight. I was saying, is she joking? I think she's joking. She's joking. She's joking. Don't think she is joking. No. And I just said to them, in all this time we've been together, have I been wrong about you yet? And sometimes in life, we need someone to see into us our possibility that we trust in, our potential that we that we just trust that person. Everybody had total free will in the week. Forgive me, I know this is just one big paragraph, but it's a heart pouring rather than a ChatGPT script or a auto cue. It's just me sharing what an amazing time we had and how life worked with us. Anyway, back to the energy. We'd come back in the room, we were doing our sharings, and somebody said, do you know, I would really like another opportunity to do the rebar. I'd got home at 1 the previous day in the morning, and because I decided to come home, and I'd got up at 6, maybe 5:30 that morning. I'd taught all day. We'd been outside. We're holding a lot. And when she said, could we have another opportunity to do the rebar bend, I knew it was important. And I said, yes, and instantly pulled the energy up to hold that teaching again and be absolutely 100% present. We have so much more in us than we realized. Yes, when we sat down to do the sharing, I felt like that we were maybe winding down a little bit. But I was prepared for that whole time I was with them, every moment I was with them, to be in value, offering value, whether it's holding space, whether it's listening to the sharing, whether it's the drumming, whether it's the walk between the house and the firewalk. And the feedback that people got out of the training was, it just made every ounce that I gave, held, supported, worth it, absolutely worth it. So, if you're feeling called to transform lives and you know you're meant for more, you know that what you're doing right now is great, then let's have a conversation and see if this work feels a fit for you.